Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
There's just one more thing, and then you are officially part of the family. It's just something we do when someone new joins the family.
A game. What game? Hide and seek? Are we really gonna play that? I know you're in here.
Does she look like she's wearing a giant white wedding dress, Emily?
If we don't find her and perform the ritual, we're all dead.
Good luck.
It's co-directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, both of whose work I am not familiar with. The main cast includes Samara Weaving, who is the niece to the one and only Agent Smith, Hugo Weaving. Hugo is not allowed to change. Anyway, Samara, or is it Samara? I've seen the name go both ways. She is known for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, and will be in upcoming films Guns Akimbo, due out sometime in September of this year, and Bill and Ted Face the Music, due out in 2020. Henry Czerny from The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Mission Impossible. Adam Brody from Shazam, Chips, Yoga Hosers, and will be in the upcoming Promising Young Woman, due out sometime in 2020. Andy McDowell from Only the Brave, Magic Mike XXL, and will be in the upcoming No Man's Land, due out sometime in 2020. And finally, Melanie Scrofano from Winona Earp. Oh yeah, the next season's out on Netflix, isn't it? I gotta make time to watch that. Yeah, this is a pretty fun one. In the tradition of most good horror films, it starts off firing on all cylinders. Like, you have a young Daniel selling out some poor injured dude who just wants to live through the night. And then he gets tagged by a couple of arrows. He's dragged off by mysterious masked people. It's actually a pretty intense start. That's actually one of the things that I respect most about this. This family is not hiding that it's trying to kill people. I mean, from the main character, of course, but not from the audience. The true mystery is what would happen if they fail to kill the new addition to the family. And honestly, because the way it's cast, a lot of these actors aren't huge names. You might recognize Henry Czerny from a lot of projects, but a lot of these actors are pretty unknown. So you don't actually know who's going to make it, who's going to die. Now let's talk characters. Grace is probably one of the better horror protagonists that I've seen in a while. Samara Weaving goes through the full gamut of emotions in this flick. From happily married to confusion, why do I have to play this game? This is a weird tradition. To freaking out when shit hits the fan, to determination when, freaking out isn't doing anything for her. She's actually kind of hilarious too. She will absolutely punch a child. Granted, that child earned it, but it's just the way that she looks. There's just confidence in that punch. I love watching Samara Weaving. I really hope to see more of her in the future. But if I had to pick my favorite character in this entire movie, it'd be Scrofano as Emily. Holy shit, this girl had me dying in my seat. You have this woman who's so determined to be accepted by the family. She's so excited, but she's this pariah. Nobody likes her. But she is determined to show that she's of worth. Once everything started and, the game of hide and seek starts, she'll look at herself in the mirror and she's like, you are a winner. You're going to get your shit together and just snort some coke. She's just like, yes. Holy shit, this woman. just like this the entire movie too. The true genius behind her character, though, is just how inept she is at this whole thing. She does not know how to use any of her weapons. She is freaking out left and right.
God damn it, Emily! I don't know what I'm doing!
Unless it's a magic cult bun line that can send demons back to hell, I don't know what I'm doing. I also enjoy the setting. The house is a beautiful house. It's got all these antiques in there. It's not darkly lit like any other horror film would be. It's well lit. I appreciate that. It definitely does feel like a horror movie house, though, because you have just people running around with old school shotguns, axes, bows and arrows even. So you get medieval in this fucking movie. But I love it. It's great. I even appreciate that the movie doesn't feel like it needs to be restricted to the house itself. So at some point, a character does go outside, and we get more of that, and it's played with quite well. And I appreciate that a lot. Also, the deaths in this movie are quite satisfying. Very bloody, very violent. You might even recall in the trailer, there's that Asian maid that gets the arrow shot in her mouth. She didn't die. In fact, you have a character, I mean, everyone thinks she did initially, but then you have a character who's trying to talk, and then she's just over there on the ground suffering, constantly interrupting in that comedic way. You have the crazy aunt who just goes over there, chops the head off. I love the humor in this movie. It's so great, so endearing. But as much as I like this movie, and I do, so please don't hate me, I'm just voicing my opinion here, I do feel like there are some negatives that need to be addressed. For one thing, I feel like if you took 5 minutes to really think about the setup of this story, not everything adds up. Now, granted, there's probably a lot that I missed somewhere and just got my wires crossed or didn't hear specific types of dialogue. So I'm going to say, disclaimer, if I miss some information, please leave it in the comments, fill in the blanks for me that were technically filled in and I just missed it. The setup is that they have their fortune because they sold their souls to the devil, or this Mr. LaBelle. Actually, is there a difference between them? Is Mr. LaBelle supposed to be the devil in disguise or with a name? I don't remember. That was confusing enough as it is, but they amassed their fortune because they sold their souls to this. So anytime a new member comes into the family, they have to play a game.
Garth, marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries.
Either they win and they keep their lives and enjoy the fruits of wealth as is, or they die if they lose. So my question is, has this family in the generations that have been doing this never tried to amass their own kind of wealth? Like just broaden their horizons? It's revealed that they amassed their fortune because of board games, which is why all of this took place at all. There's a reason why the sacrifices have to be done in the form of a game, like hide and seek, chess, whatever the case may be. So have they not ever tried to venture into other aspects, just real estate, anything? Has none of the newer generations just tried to make an app to sell off to Microsoft or something? I feel like it feels so narrow-minded in its own premise, in its own setup. It's kind of like Coco in that matter, where it's like this entire family hates music because of the mistakes of one dude from several generations ago, and it just, how do you hold on to that kind of prejudice for so long when you weren't even around for it? How do you not venture out into new ways of making your own wealth? Why stick with Mr. LaBelle? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Or here's another question, why marry anyone at all? It's clear that some of these people are actually good people outside of the ritual sacrificing. So take Alex, for example. He's the one who got away. He's the one that wanted nothing more to do with the family history. So he clearly believes that something would happen if he ever tried to bring someone in. So why does he marry Grace at all? Even the movie sort of addresses this, but it's not given an answer. If Alex didn't believe that anything was going to happen if they didn't play a game, then why does he marry Grace at all? Like, the fact that he's just so super in love should actually be the motivation to not marry her.
Fuck you, asshole.
And I don't recall any rules that specify that, you have to periodically get married. It's just a general rule that if you get married, the person being brought into the family has to play the game and possibly get sacrificed. For that matter, even if someone wins a game, how are so many marriages lasting? Like, how come there aren't more divorces? Like, okay, I won, you tried to kill me, why should I stay with you? I mean, some characters make sense. They come from a poor background and would rather die than go back to a poor lifestyle. But at the same time, how many people are really have that background? I mean, it's probably dumb of me to expect realism in a story that's about sacrificing your soul to the devil, but I don't know. My suspension of disbelief was kind of tested in this regard. Even later on, Samara's comedy just gets turned up a few notches. When she's outside, she escapes the estate and she tries to get the attention of some rich kids driving by. They stop for her, but just because she's in front of the car. Once she gets around, they just drive off and they're all like, "Crazy bitch," or whatever it is that they said. And then Grace goes into this long tangent about, "You motherfucking micro dick motherfuckers." I don't know what the particulars she said, but it's clear she was improvising, but it was a wonderful scene. I love this shit. It's like, fucking rich people. Even in their own rules, they don't seem like they follow it very well. I guess it's clear, or it's supposed to be clear, that hide and seek is the do or die game, which is why they put so much emphasis on, oh, we have to do this. If we don't kill her by dawn, we're fucked. But, and even in the trailer, they sort of say this, like,
So there's no way for me to win, right?
And stay hidden till dawn.
well, isn't that technically winning right there? I mean, I really need to know an answer here. Why isn't that technically winning? Every game can be won in some way. Even in the case of hide and seek, like if the seekers just simply give up, hey, I give up, I can't find you, that's winning. Or if you have a certain time slot, or if you have a certain time frame, and the person hiding is never found within that time frame, isn't that winning? It feels like it's not quite explained very well and just goes against its own rule. Man, I just have so many questions for a movie that I probably shouldn't be thinking this much about. Especially for a movie that's supposed to be as simple as killer hide and seek. I mean, equally strange movies have been made before. Also, forget hide and seek. I want to know what killer chess looks like. Or is it as boring as it sounds? Play chess and you win, you keep your life, and if you lose, you just get maimed. I'm really curious about that, and I hope that if they decide to make a sequel to this, which would kind of actually be stupid. Actually, wait, no. They do kind of hint that other people have experienced this kind of phenomenon before. So I guess it is possible that a sequel, or at least a spin-off, could be made. I also don't really like how they treated Alex toward the end of the film. Throughout most of the story, he's basically been a good guy, defying his family, escaping confinement, unlocking doors and bypassing security, all that good stuff, all in the name of trying to protect his wife. But then he gets captured, and one conversation with his mom later, and suddenly he kind of just falls to the dark side.
Can't be that easy. It's that easy.
There's even some buildup later on about Alex being the new head of the family because that was his destiny or something. But at the end of the day, this didn't really mean a whole lot because the ending is everyone dies except for Grace. So all that buildup and it amounted to nothing. I feel like a remedy for this would have been to actually kill Grace at the end of the story. I mean, why not? You're building up that Alex is supposed to be the new head of the family and that his fall to the dark side has some weight to it. You could easily just sequel bait it and have the next marriage be the one that ultimately destroys the family and we see everyone explode then. At the end of the day, I guess I just feel like it was too easy for Alex to fall and that build-up meant nothing. I guess in the long run, it was meant to kind of be a fake out because it's providing the audience with two endings. The one that we immediately want to believe is that Grace will survive. After all, they're building up like if we don't kill her by dawn, we're all fucked, we're all gonna die. It would actually be kind of anticlimactic if we didn't see that happen. What would happen if they failed? Let's face it, the audience would want to see that. What kind of horrible death would await them? But at the same time, you have all these narrative elements that you're not going to utilize. Sure, other families may, be under the same curse, but let's face it, we kind of know this family, and some of the family members are a lot of fun to be around, and would be nice to see them return for a future sequel. But with the ending that we get, we're not going to get that, or at least it would be kind of difficult to sell it. But I don't know, you could have gotten a sequel out of this, and I would have totally been fine. And you could have delivered on what was promised in the first movie by providing the bloody explosive ending that we ultimately got. But hey, if this is the only one of its kind, then I'll be fine with that. I don't need a sequel after this. That's for damn sure. Overall, I'm definitely recommending this to everybody. It's a fun little horror film, slasher film. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, even though I clearly took it too seriously. But even with that said, I had a lot of fun. The characters are really engaging, and I love Samara Weaving. I loved Melanie Scrofano. The violence is satisfying. If this is something that you feel is up your alley, it's definitely worth checking out. My honest rating for Ready or Not is a 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.